Hey everybody. Um, yeah, apologies for all of this. I been playing with cameras lately, and this is what happens. So I'm gonna try to answer Tim's question for the umpteenth time. I haven't done this sort of talking to camera stuff in a while, so eh, I'm out of practice. Okay, so Tim's question is, how much money do you set aside to safely go full time indie? And I want to stop there and criticize the question because the idea that going indie is safe is just no. There's nothing safe about quitting your job and going full time indie. Now, of course, I do realize that I think I saw some air quotes. I think Saul was in the chat dropping some quotes around this as well. And so, yeah, we probably all understand that there's nothing particularly safe about this, but we haven't done this in a while, this chat thing. So I have to reiterate this first. So, yes, there's nothing safe about making games, quitting your job to make games. Well, you know what? There's nothing safe about making games in general. Funny story. I just left a game studio that invested a lot of money in a project, and ultimately we were not able to make it sustainable. Basically, the long and short of it, we invested a lot. We put a lot of time into a lot of hours. We built something really, really cool, like really fanciful. Yet we just were unable to find a market for it, find an audience for this game, and we had to shut it down back in October, um, and that's a shame. It's not so. Ultimately, my kind of point of that is that it's not even just the small indies, the little tiny ones that are like just me, you, a couple guys, this sort of thing, that are having this problem. It's widespread. Like games in general is just not a very good business. It's very unsafe. It's very risky, and it's hard to succeed in games. Frankly, some people do. Hey guys, but it's not easy. You'll make something, you'll put it out there, and there's no guarantee that what you make will be sustainable. No guarantee at all. So, that said, I still want to answer the question. I kind of feel like there's still reasons why you want to quit your job and go full time indie. Uh, I feel like there's two main viable reasons for doing it. The one of quitting because it's somehow safe or financially stable. No, let's not even consider that. Let's just accept that. Okay, that games is unsafe, and I think it's important that we even treat it this way. That any discussions of games as a business should not be thought of as there's anything safe about this. This is super risky, but it's a question of how do we mitigate risk. Given this. Okay, so the reasons you'd quit. I want to say there's two main reasons. Quit and go full time. I should be specific. The one reason is you've got a creative itch that you need to scratch. You've got a project that you need to make, and well, you start making it. Like ideally, you've worked on this project before you've quit in the first place. Like this is the best case scenario, and this is the kind of thing that I'm starting to look at myself. It's like I want to make my game, get it to a certain point before I consider pulling the trigger and going full time on this. And so the obvious answer there is, when do you pull the trigger? It's when I have enough money in the bank to finish the project, basically. So if I've got to a certain point and I've decided that okay, I need 9 months to a year to finish this game, I should have at least that much money in the bank. In fact, I should have much more than that. I should have like a year and a half. I should have 18 months worth of money in the bank for a game that I think is going to take a year to finish. Because let's be real, we're going to make mistakes. We're going to be wrong. So, you need at least a little buffer to miss your date. And if you're doing things like console ports, well, you need to be a lot more, generous than that even. Like add a good solid 3 months per port maybe. When you're in the groove, you could probably do it in less. But like, if you're releasing the game for multiple platforms, just make sure you pad out that time a whole bunch. So that's yeah. So if the game's gonna take a year, ideally you want like maybe 2 years if we're honest. So you build your game, you realize that you made a mistake. It's gonna take longer. You take that little bit longer, and oh crap, the game is close, but I need more time. Well, it's okay that a game is not released on schedule. At least if you're self-funding and, well, you're not in, like, you didn't pull a Kickstarter and now you're out of money. Obviously, if you pulled that, then things are a little bit eerie and weird. But if you manage to fully fund your game, fully support it yourself, then if you need to take a 6-month gig, like a little contract gig, or pick up a job and finish the game at nights, there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally fine. Now, will the game make back the money that you spent on it? Probably not. If we're honest, we should not be expecting games to make back the money that you spend or the time that you spend on them. Some will, but most won't. Anyway, that's the responsible way of doing this, I would say, is you build your game as far as you can. You reach the point where I need to go full-time on this to finish this and ship this. There's reasons for one to do that. That's the one way you want to go. So if it's going to take a year, take 2 years. Bank 2 years of money before you pull the trigger. You could bank less and then hope. Forget hoping. If you want to do this safe, anything resembling safe, you literally need the time it's going to take you plus a buffer, plus a bunch more. So the other reason you might want to quit your job and go full-time indie is, well, you're burnt out. And that's kind of how my first attempt at this went. I was very burnt out. I'd worked at a variety of game studios doing like full-time stuff, basically making Barbie games and other kids' games, working stupid hours, and I was burnt out. Frankly, the first 6 months that I was off after I left was very slow going. Like, I did some fun stuff that I like doing, but I didn't have anything resembling a product until like well after 6 months. Like, it was taking me a lot longer than that. And I think that's actually a legitimate reason for quitting and going full-time indie is you are burnt out and you want to make something that's yours. And I got to do that, and that helped me. And then I got better, and then things led to things. Things eventually led to me making this game Smiles. That won me more cars than most people have won. But ultimately, the game was never financially sustainable, which is the issue. And that's okay. I think it's fine to quit your job, work full-time on a game, and ship it with the understanding that it might not, or actually that it will not make enough money to sustain you. Just make sure that the amount of money that you've banked to finish the project is in excess of how long it's going to take you to make it. So if it's going to take you 6 months to finish, try to have 9 months to a year banked so that you can put all your time into it, and then you've got a couple months left over to find the next gig. On the plus side, you now have a project that's either nearly finished or close to being finished that you can use to say, hey, I've built this thing, I've released it, and give me work, which isn't a bad thing to have anyway. Especially if you're someone that's in a completely different industry. If your day job is not video games and you're looking to get into video games, and I guess you don't mind working yourself like some sort of slave. I did it for a while. I did my slave time. I've moved on from that. Then yeah, you can build your game project. You can try your luck at the market. Chances are it won't succeed, but that's okay. You now have a thing that's like, okay, this proves me as a developer, as a creator, as a designer. I'm looking for work. I've done this, and this. These are the tools I used to build it. Hey, let's have a conversation. And that's a very powerful thing to have, like a completed ship project when you're looking for work, especially in games. Because, people are looking for people that can do the job. And if you've done the job, there you go. The whole other can of worms is kind of what I'm looking at now. It's like, I've done the games thing, and now I want money. I want either a lot of money or a lot of time. That's kind of that's basically the things that you need to build a game these days, is time and money. And in a sense, money itself provides time. So, what's my point? I don't know. I've attempted this video more times than I care to admit. I'm hoping that this is enough that Mike's filter that is going to watch this video decides, you know what? Yes, Mike. You can let this one go. You can move on. And, well, I got lots of crap to do. It's nearly Christmas, and presents are wrapped, but I've got a photography video project to finish with that I'm giving to a family as my present. And I'm about half done the photos. I'm about done the video, and yeah. So I'm gonna go do that. Yeah. Hi everyone. Merry Christmas or equivalent holiday celebration. Yeah. Let me see. Can I shut this down from my phone? Oh, connection lost.